let's go on to the Joe Biden primary. And I'm calling it the Joe Biden primary because that's all that it is. Marianne Williamson has come out crying foul over ballot access. It turns out, if you remember, Florida decided a couple of weeks ago that they would only place Joe Biden on the ballot. They said, well, he doesn't have any challengers, so he's the only one. And then they cheered, yay, Joe Biden. And Marianne Williamson, and I forgot who the other person is who's running, because Marianne's been running this entire time. And Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was running as a Democrat the entire time. And then there's been a couple of other candidates who I believe have jumped into the race. And they said, and she says, wait a minute, I've been running. He's challenged. There is a challenger here, so you should have a primary. Now people said, oh, but you don't have a chance. It doesn't matter. Let the voters decide. Maybe Marianne would actually do a lot better in Florida than people thought. And that's probably what they were worried about, was that people would see that there was another name on that Democratic primary and they'd say, well, anybody's better than Joe Biden, so I guess that's who we're going to go with. Well, it turns out Florida's not the only one who's now done this. Massachusetts has done it. Tennessee has done it as well. So, and I believe another one has even done it. I think North Carolina has added to it. So here's Marianne Williamson. She wrote a Twitter thread on this. She says, the DNC is at it again. We discovered the Massachusetts Democratic Party intends to include only Joe Biden as their primary candidate on the Massachusetts ballot. Massachusetts and Tennessee have joined Florida in only placing Biden's name on the ballot. The DNC is at it. So she goes on to say, Dem Chair Steve Kerrigan's misplaced attempt at protecting Joe Biden robs Massachusetts Democrats of their voice and choice in the upcoming election. This action is a flagrant violation of DNC rules and process. I have actively campaigned in Massachusetts. Secretary of Massachusetts has the discretion to include FEC-filed candidates who've received national media coverage, which I have. We hope Secretary of the Commonwealth will protect Massachusetts voters from the Massachusetts Democrats' attempt at circumventing democracy. And she says, Florida, Tennessee, North Carolina, now Massachusetts. This is a pattern. We cannot let it stand. Yeah. So they're Democrats. They're protecting their guy. Why? I don't know. Nobody likes him. I mean, really, all-time low polls. Really not liked. Why is it? Why is it that they would be doing this? It's I'm asking that rhetorically because I already know the answer. Because they have a plan. And I'm going to keep saying what that plan is. They're going to get Joe Biden to the DNC, to the July convention, and they're going to claim, and this is the way, they can't claim this if there are actually challengers to Joe Biden, but they can claim it if there were no challengers on the primary against Joe Biden, if they erased the challengers and they acted like there were no challengers. They said, well, nobody ran against Joe. And so, oh no, but Joe is such a good guy. Remember when Biden said he would only seek one term because of his age? Remember that? Well, he's such a good, honorable man. He's stepping aside for a younger generation. But oh no, we already did the primaries and here we are at the DNC National Convention. And if Joe Biden steps down, we don't have a candidate. Who is going to be our presidential nominee? Oh no, what are we going to do? And they're just going to swoop somebody in, probably Gavin Newsom at this point, but who knows? They might change their mind on him because he's not doing that hot, right? So they might swoop in somebody else, but it's going to be somebody. And they're going to swoop that person in and they're going to say, oh, all the delegates just unanimously voted for Gavin Newsom, or they might have like a little pretend primary at the DNC convention where they say, okay, vote for Gavin Newsom or Amy Klobuchar or Kamala Harris or Pete Buttigieg or whoever they throw in there. And they say, we're going to do like because of this unprecedented situation that we're in, oh no, what are we going to do? We're going to have like a primary amongst the delegates at the DNC convention. And that's when we'll announce the new presidential candidate. And yay, that's what they intend to do. So they can only do this if he's had no challengers in the primary, because if he's had a challenger in the primary and there's somebody who comes in second place time after time after time again, then theoretically that second place challenger could say, well, then if he's stepping aside and I got second place, then I win. I'm now the nominee. But they, of course, don't want that. They don't want Marianne Williamson. And so they, of course, are going to put in the person that they want. And that is what we're seeing happen on both sides of the aisle, right? The Republicans and the Democrats, the establishment, the uniparty establishment is picking their winners and losers and sticking them where they want and saying, they're hopeful for the Ron DeSantis, Gavin Newsom election. That is what they're gunning for. They'll take Nikki Haley if it's not Ron DeSantis. They've got a runner up. So they like the fact they've got two choices that they really like, Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley. Now the Democrats have Gavin Newsom and maybe a couple of others. But that's what they want to do. They want the new generation of establishment hacks to be running for president without the voters' input at all. That's what they're looking to do. They're wanting to restore America. And what they mean by that is restore the establishment. And it is happening on both sides of the aisle. So it's important to remember that it is not just Democrats. They are definitely doing it. They're definitely thwarting democracy by not allowing an actual primary to happen, by probably swooping in and inserting their person right after the DNC or during the convention. And Republicans are also doing this. It's important to remember that. This is why we're watching Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley and Chris Christie, oddly, in the race, running as if they actually have a shot when Trump is so far in front of them in the polls. There is no way they would ever get the nomination at this point, but maybe there is a way, and that is what they're banking on.